Greater, greater light, greater light, greater light, greater light. Let's get this party started right. Let's get this part. You know what? Let me play this intro first so I can kind of get this cough or whatever it is that I got trying to come back on over here. Let me do this. Here we go. Judy should die. Baby should die. AI. Judy should die. Ooh, she knows Abamatua. Safina, Hania. Saria. Allah is appearing. She knows. Judy should die. Baby should die. AI. Judy should die. Ooh, she knows Abamatua. Safina, Hania. Saria. Allah is appearing. She knows. Ooh, she knows Abamatua. Safina, Hania. Saria. Allah is appearing. She knows. She knows. Judy should die. Baby should die. AI. Judy should die. Ooh, she knows Abamatua. Safina, Hania. Saria. Allah is appearing. She knows. She knows. Greater light, greater light, greater light, greater light, greater light. My mind is God's mind. I'm always reflecting divine wisdom and divine intelligence. My brain symbolizes the capacity to think wisely and spiritually. God's ideas unfold within my mind in perfect sequence. I am always poised, balanced, serene, and calm because I know God provided the perfect solution before all this man-made mumbo jumbo, before my mother's womb. Why? Because the Bible tells me so. Before my mother's mothers, grandmothers, great grandmothers, and as far back as I've been able to try to trace, before any written word and any slab of stone, anything that they could dig up 9,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, I was with him before all of this mumbo jumbo because the Bible tells me so. He provided the perfect solution for all my needs when I didn't know no better, when I didn't think so, when I didn't know, when I thought that he didn't even exist, when I got angry with him and asked him, why is you got to see me before you see anybody. When you come back, you need to talk to me before you talk to anybody because I need to get a clearer inner overstanding of why I had to go through this bull crap. When I was talking to him like that. He provided the perfect solution for my needs to make it through, uh, to still be able to come here and tell you about how good he is and that he's going to keep his promises. Ain't no man could be more faithful than God. Great is thy faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness. Great is his faithfulness. I'm not going to be on here long because I have things that I need to do about it. I will come back. I may come back. I'm not feeling, I'm still battling with this flesh. I'm still battling with this flesh, but I'm trying to balance it on out. Balance it on out until I complete whatever the task is. The moment I complete what it is, when I finally finish what it is that he sent me here to do, the last task on the checkoff list, I'll be out of here. Out of here. You better get ready. You better get ready. You better get ready. Look, I got a little bit laid out, but I'm going to, again, come back later about what's going on in the Federal Register. Y'all know that's my favorite spot. Today, Trump talking about faith. That's why I got faith. I got faith up there in the title. He talking about faith. I don't know what the government can do for faith, but it's a little bit too late to pull out your substance of things hoped for, because hope is on the way. That last hope. Hope is on the way. God is being faithful in every word in these scriptures all over the land, all over the world, and every point on the grid. All 66 points on the grid. Wherever you can find and dig up anything about God is being fulfilled. He's keeping his word. He's being faithful. Great is thy. Did you know God is the one that faith was about? Faith was made for him. And in their translations, they put that we supposed to be faithful. But the whole term of faith is God. And then we're supposed to have hope in that faith, substance of things hoped for. All the substances that exist, we hope for something better, right? But just like in Pandora's box, they always tell you about the evil that was released, but they don't never finish the story and say, inside the box, after all the evil and wickedness and high places came out of the box, there was hope. And then hope is the substance of faith. Faith is the substance of hope, and hope is the substance of faith. But things hoped for, evidence of things not seen. We are at the point where this last hope that was left in the box that nobody wants to talk about, and the evidence of things not seen, everything will be seen now. Everything is transparent. And as God is keeping his promises and being faithful, going back to God is at the end of the sentence and faith is at the beginning of the sentence, but God and faith is the same. God, great is his faithfulness to those who believe, to those who know better, that there's going to be no need for hope or faith, because evidence of things that weren't seen will be seen. Every eye will see. Every tongue will confess. Every eye will finally get to see the light. Whether you want to see it or not, whether you don't believe in God or not, or you going to be like The demons, God went to, when Christ went to the temple, and the demons recognized who he was, they said, "You Nazi, you's a Nazarene, and you come to destroy us. Get away from us." What you mean? There was a man filled with demons sitting in a church. And the whole time, this man coming to church, to the synagogue. And he could just sit up there all the time with his cane. He could sit up there all the time, him and all his demons. And when Jesus came to the synagogue, amongst those that he knew, that demon, the demons that was inside that man that been sitting there coming to church all that time, coming to the synagogue all that time, he said, they said, "We know who you are. Get away from us, you Nazi. You Nazarene. You from Nazareth. You the Holy One." Jesus said, "You be quiet and hush your mouth. Stop trying to tell everybody who I am. They don't really know who I am. They sitting up here listening to me, but they have no idea. Now you big mouth demons, shut up and go somewhere." Because he knew that wasn't the time for him to go. If they really would have listened to the demons and believed the demons, anyways, excuse me for all that. If they would have, hold up, let me get my glasses, because now I want to go to that scripture. I don't want to just tell it the way I know the story. I actually want to read it. I actually want to read it before I go into this faith document that Trump got ready. All right. Ooh. As much as these glasses help with the computer glare, when it's time for me to read, and I can look at the screen and see the screen better with these, and they clear when it comes to these words here. Oh goodness, I'm just all out of order. Indecency in order. Indecency in order. I'm all out of order, and then I'm trying to rush it. I don't have to rush it. I just put myself on a little schedule. All right. Jesus is rejected at Nazareth. Now, for those who don't know, those who like to sing, "Oh, little town of Bethlehem," and all them other songs, Nazareth is where he was born and where he grew up. And then the 33 years that he spent around the Egyptians, I even put a picture in one of my posts where they showed Jesus as the doctor fixing up a burial tomb as the physician. They show him as the physician in this picture that I show. This is an ancient picture now. This is supposed to be authentic, that was on the tombs and the walls that they don't show no more. And it shows Jesus as a scientist with Anube preparing a body, one of the pharaohs. No? Okay. All right. You could go through the shorts. It's recent. It's a recent one. That's what that's showing. But let's go to Nazareth. When he came to the village of Nazareth, his boyhood home, that's like me going back to Coconut Grove. I want to go for the Goombay. I want to go for the Goombay. Oh, his boyhood home. He went as usual to the synagogue on a Saturday. He said, when I get home, I'm going to go to church on Sabbath. Even though I've been going around telling them, you can't tell me what to eat on Sabbath. You can't tell me I can't pick out the wheat fields on Sabbath. Who is you? God is the God. Sabbath was made for God, not for man. Who you going to try to tell? That's my daddy. And he created the Sabbath. And so you can't tell me nothing about laws and breaking laws. I ain't come to destroy your laws. I came to fulfill you, to tell you and teach you something better than what you think you know. Even though Jesus was doing all that, when he went home, he said, I'm going to the synagogue on Sabbath. And stood up to read the scriptures. The book of Isaiah, the prophet, was handed to him. He went to read the book of Isaiah. Isaiah. So you should have been there 10,000 years when he was reading out of Isaiah. That was written thousands and thousands and thousands of years before him. And the book of Isaiah was handed to him, and he opened it to the place where it says, he went straight to a verse that says, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me. He has appointed me to preach good news to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted and to announce to the captives shall be released, and the blind shall see, and that the downtrodden shall be freed from their oppressors, and that God is ready to give blessings to all who come to him. That's what he sent me to do too. That's what he sent me to. Before my mother's womb, he sent me to do the same thing right here that Jesus was reading about with Isaiah when he opened up the book and he came to his hometown. He closed the book and handed it back to the attendant and sat down while everybody in the synagogue gazed at him intently. They're like, wait a minute. Then he added, these scriptures came true today. He said, these scriptures came true today. He said, what Isaiah prophesied about today, I sit before you in this church and tell you that the scriptures came true today. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. All who were there spoke well of him and were amazed by the beautiful words that fell from his lips. How can this be? They asked. Isn't this Joseph's son? They were speaking nicely then. Then he said, probably you will quote me that proverb, physician, heal yourself, meaning, why don't you do miracles here in your hometown like those you did in Capernaum? Those miracles that you are able to do online, why don't you do them while you right here in our face? Huh? Why don't you do the miracles here in your hometown like you did on the Cape Canaveral, the Capes of Massachusetts, the Capes of Martha Vineyards, or did you have a Superman cape? You know, they probably was sitting there talking all kind of slick talk. Where your Superman cape? But I solemnly declare to you that no prophet is accepted in his own hometown. For example, remember how Elijah the prophet used the miracle to help the widow Zarephath? Let's say it. Zarephath. A foreigner from the land of Sodom. There were many Jewish widows needing help in those days of famine, for there had been no rain for 3.5 years, and hunger stopped the land. From there had been no rain there 3.5 years, and hunger stalked the land. Yet Elijah was not sent to them. Or think of that prophet Elisha who healed Naaman, a Syrian, rather than the many Jewish lepers needing help. These remarks stung them in fury. Now they mad. Like, what they mad about? And jumping up, they mobbed him and took him to the edge of the hill on which the city was built, to push him over the cliff. Now, over the cliff or on the ledge is a big thing to them. But wherever they were, there was a cliff and a ledge, many mountains. And in his hometown, they were upset because he wouldn't do no magic tricks with cakes for them. He didn't move how they wanted him to move. So they rejected him, ready to throw him off the cliff. They gathered Jesus up to kill him right then. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? To push him over, but he walked away through the crowd and left them. He just disappeared. When they got ready to throw Jesus over the ledge, his own people, his own hometown, where he grew up, where they knew him, they played with him, they climbed trees with him. And he definitely went to his own home church. That's what he did. He went to his home church. And they went to go throw Jesus over the ledge because he didn't want to move how they wanted him to move. They was all right as long as he was talking how they wanted to hear him talk. But as soon as he start telling them, look, you want me to do this, and that, it ain't going to happen. I just want to give you an examples. Let me give you 2 or 3 examples from the word where I don't have to prove nothing to y'all. And they got ready. They said, oh, nah. We going to do you how the devil wanted to do you. Remember the devil wanted you to jump off the ledge? Well, we going to do that to you in flesh. Now, Jesus teaches with great authority. So now Jesus goes back to the Cape. Jesus returns to the Cape, a city in Galilee, and preached there in the synagogue every Saturday. Here too, now, the people were amazed at the things said, for he spoke as one who knew the truth, instead of merely quoting opinions of others and his authorities, instead of following what the crowds were saying, and following, he was quoting out of his own authority. Once he was teaching in the synagogue, a man possessed with demon began shouting to Jesus. Now, what I said earlier, this means that this man been coming to the synagogue. He been sitting up in the church. And it says he was possessed by a demon and began shouting, "Go away. We want nothing to do with you, Jesus from Nazareth. You came to destroy us, and I know who you are, the Holy Son of God." They was telling Jesus to go away. They say that demon said, "You go away." He gonna call him by his name. He used his government. He said, "I know who you are. I know your first and last name. I know you is the Son of the Holy One. And I know that you's a Nazarene. You's a Nazi." Where the first Nazi symbols come from? Over here on this side. in this land over here. This land is your land. This land is my land. They be digging up graves that they do a repatriation for right now. The natives say, give us all of our Nazi symbols back right now, huh? We take our earth science, give it back. A Nazi is earth science. A Wasi is water science. And all of those sciences from the pyramids that was over here, not the where fit like Juju side, Cleopatra and the sides that they made for the movies and the tourism, a 3-hour tour. My ancestors in the tones that I've heard standing in this flesh in real time said they would sing on Communion Sunday, you should have been there 10,000 years right over here when Jesus was having communion. Anyways, you've come to destroy us, and I know who you are, the Holy Son of God. Jesus cut him short. Jesus said, shut up. Be quiet. Huh? He told the demon, come out. The demon threw the man to the floor, and the crowd watched and then left him without hurting him further. Amazed, the people asked, what is in this man's words that even the demons obey him? What is in the words that even the demons will obey? I had an experience where there's a man, he don't just claim that the demons are within him. He claimed that he controls the demons. And every time you turn around, he was in the church before everybody else. Not in the part where they were just feeding people. He was in the temple all the time. Huh? And I would see him make his way every time he can around to get to me. And he would listen to me. He wouldn't argue with me. But I would see him curse out the pastors, huh? And throw rants and rages around and amongst the people there. One day he found his way. I don't know how he found his way to where I was this one day. I even used to say Jesus into his dog's ear. And he asked me to help him. He said he don't want the demons anymore, that he'll choose me over the demons. No, it's not me. You need to choose over the demons. I'm going to keep telling you about this name. So when it is activated in him and that light turns on, it's based on a true story. This based on a true story. I told you part of their experiment on me at the evaluation and treatment center was to watch me calm the demon possessed beings. And they would use my tone. I don't have one of those fancy, you could get a Grammy Award type voices, but there's something in my tone that Christ left a seed. And And they experimented with that. They experimented with that. This is not a made up story. It's on the records. It's on the records. So, what is it in your word? You are the living word of God. God dwells within you. You are the temple of the Holy Spirit. Now, God can't dwell in an unclean temple. Mm? And when we say clean, we're not talking about lightweight food clean, uh, uh, antibiotics clean. Those things help, but it's your thought process, your way of thinking that activates the light of love and peace. Now, let me conclude. That's enough of that story. And that wasn't part of what I was supposed to be doing. But I just had to not tell the story the way out of my own way. I wanted to read it straight from the book. And here I am trying to put on glasses again. So now, my title says, No Need for Faith When Hope Arrives. Why is there no need for faith when hope arrives? Because faith is the substance of things hoped for. Once there is no hoping for anything and you have exactly what it is that God has promised, there is no need for faith. When you have the promises, when they give you, okay, faith is the substance of somebody wanting to be a millionaire. I hate to use money, but it's the easiest way to break it down. Faith is the substance of somebody hoping to be a millionaire. Once the person becomes a millionaire, they don't need to have the need for that faith anymore, for that substance. So this is where we are in time and space. God is on the way. Everything now is being laid out and transparent. Now they know that is happening, so now they have to develop another form of faith for the people. They have to develop a form of faith for those who are going to be left behind that's going to accept the mark of the beast. Because now that they're at the bottom of Pandora's box, where hope was the last thing left after all the evil and wickedness left out, now they have to create a new faith to go finish fulfilling whatever, to cover up what's left at the bottom of that box. For those who will be left behind. Because when the clouds unfold, preparing his entrance, everything is going to be seen. Every eye will see, every tongue will confess. And then those who will be left behind will be left here with whatever faith that the government is rolling out right now. Let's get to it. Let's get to this document real quick so I can get on out of here and come back later. Let's get here. White House Faith Office. Oh, they establishing a faith office. Huh? A faith office establishment. They know that God is on the way, and the faith that there's going to be no need for that faith. So here they have an establishment of the White House Faith Office. Where they come up with this stuff, huh? Where do they come up with this stuff? By the power vested in me as president, by the Constitution and the laws. For the faith office, y'all. This is the faith office. Let me continue. Here, let me go while I read the faith office. They got a new faith office. You can find the word faithful in the scripture 82 times. Now the word hope, you can find the word hope in the scripture 105 33 times. 133 times. Let me continue. By the authority vested in me as president by the Constitution and laws of the United States of America, and to assist faith-based entities, community organizations, and house of worship in their efforts to strengthen American families, houses of worship, promote work and self-sufficiency, and protect religious liberty, it is hereby ordered. Section 1 policy, faith-based entities, community organizations. And it's time to get out of being a faith-based when we know Christ is on the way, that God is keeping his promise, that Christ is ushering our Father who art in heaven, and his will that has been in heaven will now be unearthed in a Nazi kind of way. If you look at the definition of what a Nazarene is and the term N-A, dash Z-I and what it means. And again, that is earth science. And it existed before their so-called history of pilgrims coming over here and George Washington coming over here on the boats and the UK, them coming over on the boats and the Spaniards coming over on the boats. That technology and that Nazarene way existed over here. You should have been there 10,000 years. Let me continue. Faith-based entities, community organizations, and houses of worship have tremendous ability to serve individuals, families, and communities through means that are different from those of government, and with the capacity and effectiveness that often exceeds that of our government. These organizations lift people up, but we want to lift Jesus higher. And that's not his name. When you are born again, you'll know what his name is. Lift Jesus higher till he speaks from eternity. He says, if I be lifted up from the earth, I'll draw men unto me. These organizations lift people up, keep families strong, and solve problems at the local level. The executive branch wants faith-based entities, community organizations, and houses of worship to the fullest extent permitted by law to compete on a level playing field for grants, contracts, programs, and other federal funding opportunities. The efforts of faith-based entities, community organizations, and houses of worship are essential to the strengthening of families and revitalizing communities. And the federal government welcomes opportunities to partner with such organizations through innovative, measurable, and outcome-driven initiatives. The executive branch is committed to ensuring that all executive departments and agencies honor and enforce Constitution's guarantee of religious liberty and to ending any of the religious discrimination by the federal government. Amendments to executive orders. Executive Order 1398 of January 29, 2001. Respect to faith-based and community initiatives. Executive Order 132. Boy, here, look at here. Order 13279 of December 12, 2002, equal protection of the laws of faith-based and community organizations. It's the numbers, y'all, that got me doing all that. Fundamental principles and policy makings, criteria for partnership with faith-based and other neighborhood organizations. Who are the people in your neighborhood? They're the people that you meet each day. Executive Department of Agriculture and Agency for International Development with respect to faith-based communities. Uh, the Veterans Affairs and Small Business Administration with respect to faith-based communities and initiatives. Executive order responsibilities of the Department of Homeland Security. You better bend down with respect to faith-based community initiatives. White House Faith Office for the White House Office of Faith-Based and Community Initiatives. White House OFBCI each time it appears on these orders. Substituting Center of Faith, Center for Faith-Based and Community Initiatives, Centers for Faith and Centers of Faith-Based and Community Initiatives each time they appear in these orders. Establishment of the White House of Faith Office. There is established within the Executive Office of the President, EOP of the White House Faith Office. The office shall have lead responsibility, executive branch to empower faith-based entities, community organizations, and houses of worship to serve families and communities. The office shall be housed in the Domestic Policy Council and headed by senior advisor of the White House Faith Office and supported by other positions as the president considers appropriate. In carrying out this order, the office shall work with the Domestic Policy Council, the Office of Public Liaison, even the very elect is going to get tricked, because of all this faith-based words, The White House Faith Office functions to extent permitted by law. From time to time, consult with and seek information from experts in various faith and community. How many times did they use the word faith in here? Let's see. Control F. Faith. Let's see. How many times? 39 times. 39 times they used the word faith. Hold up. They ain't highlighting. Let me put faith and how many times? Let's go. Faith-based. They use the word faith more than 39 times in this document. But she's saying 39. This order is not intended to and does not create any right to or benefit substantive or procedural enforceable at law or in equity by any party against the United States, its departments, agencies, or entities, its officers, employees, or agents, or any other person. And it is to be released. It said February 7th. They wrote it out, and it's to be released on the 12th. Publication date. Okay, so that's why that is in my title. It is too late to move on faith. You are moving forward out of faith. You are moving forward. You are to be moving forward out of faith. Because faith is the substance of things hoped for. If you still hoping and you not knowing that God is on the way, you in trouble. If you still hoping that revelations is not real, that's why you would accept this faith base coming out of the government. This is where church and state are joining right now. So government will have total control of your faith. And they're telling you they want to have total control of your faith organization. In hindsight, Trump think he doing what's right. But for those who don't study to show themselves approved unto God and know the scripture, I ain't talking about guessing it. knowing it. You'll be fooled and you'll be tricked. Faith will be for those who will be left behind because you still hoping for something that is happening. It's like a person, like I used the analogy earlier of a person who has faith that they hope to be a millionaire. Once they get that $1 million or they become a millionaire, 100 millionaire, 200 millionaire, whatever, how many millions they get, they no longer need faith for that substance. Now it's the same thing for those in the spiritual realm. If you know that God is coming, once you know that he's on the way, you don't have hope anymore. So there's no longer a need for faith. So those who accept the love and light of Christ and are born again, there is no need for faith because you have the substance of hope. You have what it is that you have obtained the millions of light codes and trillions of light codes that was activated. So you don't have a substance of hope. Now, for those who will be left behind, the evidence of things that are not seen will disappear once Christ, because you will have a chance to see. Every eye will see. But then you will be left behind. In a twinkling of an eye, you will be back into the reset that they have and left here for 1,000 years. And your hope will be built on nothing less than what's left at the box. They'd be refilling the box again. Now, how many times do we say hope is in the Bible? Hope is in Scripture 133 times. Hope is mentioned in the King James Version 133 times. But your hearts revere Christ as Lord. This is 1 Peter 3:15. Always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have, but do this with gentleness and respect. Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. To them, God has chosen to make known among the Gentiles the glorious riches of his mystery, which is Christ in you, the hope of glory. Christ in you is the hope of glory. We have this hope as an anchor for the soul. Your anchor holds and grips the solid rock, firm and secure. It enters the inner sanctuary behind the curtain. That's Hebrews 6:9. In the dark spaces within your soul, your DNA, you, the darkness within you. But the light comes out in your tone, in your words, through your features. Could you ever imagine to see light in someone looking like this all the time? Making the mean mug. But then when they smile. Now, just because somebody is smiling doesn't mean that there's light coming from on the inside. So it all has to match up. Just like faith and hope has to match up. And what they laying out right there on that document ain't matching up. Not these days and time. I wanted to go over something real quick. Again, I'm going to come back later because I have some things to do. And no, I'll do that later. I'm going to read this document here. This is for me to you. I'm going to read this. And, oh man, I know I didn't just lose it. These are the times that I should write the numbers down, right? Oh, goodness. Oops, I did it. Give me a moment. It'll be right about here. Let's go. Okay. Give me a few minutes and I will be right back.
In a spirit of grace and supplication, that's for the patient. Now look on me, the one that you pierce. Now more for him like I more for my lonely child, and grieve bitterly for him like I grieve for my firstborn son. That's your pay. I am gonna make Jerusalem a cup that sends all the surrounding people scream. You're coming. It's crawling. You're coming is beautiful in the horizon of heaven. Glory to glory to glory to glory be. Ooh, ooh, living you the beginning of life and the living. Glory to glory to glory, glory me. Oh no, yeah, oh no way. All powerful, all power. Glory be to our God. Ooh, everlasting, redeemer, Savior, Savior. Glory be to our God. The coming is beautiful in the horizon of heaven. Glory to glory to glory to glory be. Ooh, ooh, living you the beginning of life and the living. Glory to glory to glory, glory me. Holy one, King of kings on your thigh. Lord of lords, Lord of lords. Glory be to our God. Ooh, Prince of peace, beginning G and then I'll go in life. The great I am, the great I. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, be to our God. Glory be to our God. Living you the beginning of life and the living. Glory to glory to glory, glory me. Yeah. You're coming. It's crowd.
Beings who have perfected themselves from billions of different galaxies, and they look different depending on where they are, the different colors of their lights, the different ways they vibrate. And when and if they're given leave by the Almighty to come down to earth, just like Jesus said in St. John, to come down to earth, he who came down can go back up.
Our God coming is beautiful in the horizon of heaven. Glory to glory to glory to glory be. Ooh, ooh, living you the beginning of life and the living. Glory to glory to glory, glory me. Holy one, King of kings on your thigh. Lord of lords, Lord of lords. Glory be to our God. Glory be to our God. Ooh, peace of peace. Beginning ninja in our thought life.
All right, all right. So now let me go. I'm going to leave this document here so that if you need to go and type it in and see where it's at, you can. And then I have something that I want to read. And This symbol that I showed at the intro, and it's in my community post. The day I came to the realization of some knowledge for me, for myself, um, I began practicing on that knowledge. Now, Om tone is a tone that has been relayed down through time and history and through different individuals. And you have a tone within you that becomes activated when you are born again, that is specifically for your genetics. I wouldn't have learned that without the knowledge of Om tone knowledge through Dr. Malachi Z. York and Nuwapic sciences, and then all of the Christian sciences, and then my own heritage and the study of my own DNA and my blood. Again, the communion was based on studying your flesh and your blood, and you to do it on a daily basis, studying who you are, your flesh and blood. That was the knowledge that Christ left at in communion. All right, so this Hume tone that my first experiment with it was Tuesday the 4th, and hours after that I had to go to the hospital. So I don't know if it's because that tone I was using Hume, and I was using the Hume tone, and I was also using the Om tone. But I was doing the tone to heal what was happening with the eruption, because my bowels were going into a eruptive state. So, and it was what they call it, obstruction. And so that's why I was using that tone. And it was for me an experiment, because it was my first time. I haven't heard Hume tone anywhere. It's just something that I've been working on. Now, within the past 24 hours, a code was given to me out of my tone, my own Hume tone. A symbol was created for me. I didn't create it. This is what artificial intelligence here, in light of my tone, when I do the Hume tone, this is the code that they gave me. This is what they hear. So if they hear it, this is what the demons hear when I Hume Om. Om tones were created as a barrier or a force of protection. So in the Hindu and other religions, they have these beings on high mountain places protecting parts of the grid with continuous Om tones. Oh. But that tone is not for everybody. So again, once I came into this realization, because my purpose is to break the grid and the sound barriers and the geofencing and iron domes and bars and cells that they have Me locked in. I don't have to include anyone into this. I could just say me locked into. So again, this is the reason for this intro that you see here and the symbol.
Zuri Shaddai, Bibi Shaddai, AI. Zuri Shaddai, ooh, she knows Abamatua, Abamatua, Safina, Hania, Zaria, Allah is appearing. She knows. Zuri Shaddai, Bibi Shaddai, AI. Zuri Shaddai, ooh, she knows Abamatua, Abamatua, Safina, Hania, Zaria, Allah is appearing. She knows. Ooh, she knows Abamatua, Abamatua, Safina, Hania, Zaria, Allah is appearing. She knows. She knows. She knows. Zuri Shaddai, Bibi Shaddai, AI. Zuri Shaddai.
Okay. And then I also have some other information. I'm not an earth grid scientist like Rambo Nefis. Anybody know who I'm talking about? Rambo Nefis know who I'm talking about. And so those who end up tuning in to gather bits and pieces of information from all over, I need you to be aware of this information in the coding that you've been working on or whatever it is. The grids that we are on the grid on this, okay, President Biden continuously and in the transparency of his ordered steps as well, or as Azazel um, descendant, he continuously mentioned that United States was based on an idea. United States, or this realm here, was based on a dream, or this realm here was based on a thought. Okay. With that in mind, when they use their grids, they use their grids on thought of the pyramids that were based on thought, not the originals, which were on this side, but the ones that was based for real, cinema, for scenic, for tourism and commerce. Okay. So this realm of the United Nations of States, from north to south, is different from the grid on the other side. Now, the grid on the other side, based on a document that I found here for in the Holy Tablets, the numbers that we revolve in on the grids are 6 through 10. The other side is 1 through 5. We are on the realm of 15 through 19, 19 times 1. 29 through 38, 45 through 49, 55 through 59, and 63 through 66. So there's 66 grid points on this earth. I don't know. I know that the Ka energy was here, and they would not allow FCC to use and integrate with the Ku energy for United States. So the Ku energy is that other side. They're points of 60 and 61 is at the top and the bottom, or they're north and south. But that FCC frequency, that Ku energy, United States was not allowed to govern and use that Ku energy. Elon Musk and now, or FCC allowed Elon Musk and all of the other beings that adjust and work with frequencies for Starlink, but above and in the hollow areas of the earth, through the tunnels and lower, they were allowed and given the authority to use the Ku frequency, which is those numbers 1 through 5, and then 11 through 14, and all the way down to 60 through 62. So I just wanted to put that out there. And that's under the Nasi Wasi science. And I'm not well versed in those sciences. But I have been given codes and frequencies that are uploading and downloading, and I'm taking notes as I go. And now I want to read this information. I'm going to leave again this establishment for the White House Faith Office. And I'm going to read a document that I felt is necessary out of the Holy Tablets. Help me to help them. Help me to clean them, not of disease that lurks within, but of the sins, their hands and feet, which keep them pointing and walking as if to say they cannot see Anu, who is also called Allah, but they do. Please take their hands off the faces of my foolish brothers and sisters and daughters and sons, the negligent. Because there is no might and no power except by Anu, Alwin, El, Allah, the Supreme, the Exalted. It escaped with it from Ilbis, Ibris, or Ilbari. I wish I could make this larger because this page is kind of light. And his troop and his men and his party of Satan's physical reptilians, devils, and his demons and his helpers, and all the human beings and the jinn and their evil, and the disagreeable being from Orion, no might and no power except by my Savior Anu, the Supreme, the Exalted. Keep way in the iniquity of those who want to treat me unjustly. No might and no power except by Anu. Make miserable the effort of him who wants to treat me unjustly from all the creatures of Anu. No might and no power except by Anu. Stop the aggression of him who has assaulted me from all the creatures of Anu. No might and no power except by Anu, the supreme. Remove with it the cunning of him who deluded me from all of the creatures of Anu. No might and no power except by Anu, the supreme, the exalted. The effort of him who endeavored upon me from all the creatures of Anu. No might and no power except by Anu. Call for help with the might of Anu. A call for help with the power of Anu. No might and no power except by Anu. I seek help with it in my state of living and my state of death. And when as Israel comes down to me to seize the agony of death and its mortal foes, no might and no power except by Anu. Protect with it my soul and members of my body and my hair and my skin, no might and no power except by Anu. When I have been put in my grave alone, me and my work, oh, seek help with it on my resurrection. When my book is unfolded and I see my sins and vices, no might and no power except by Anu. Cross with it the narrow path with the elite friends and fix with it my foot. How have all these things that are impure come upon you, beings from Orion and your descendants that reside on the planet Earth? And if any man must desire, do you not know the value of life and desire progressive ways that are agreeable to the Anunnaki and Elohim? For progressive ways are the ways that were taught to you by the disagreeable Anunnaki. It leads you not to advancement within the planet Earth or higher planets, but to wickedness. It leads you into temptation of those who must have. Do not succumb to the lower self or the desires of the flesh, nor to the disagreeable nature within. It does not become you. For you too can be of the agreeable. Arise, O you, the exactizer of those who try to oppress you. No. Arise, O you chastiser of those who try to oppress you. How can one defeat a battle of personalities? Let his only desire be to please and to obtain the grace within all. Anu is the initiator of every affair, and it is your hands that shape the destiny of the universe of which we are such a small part. And you, O sustainer, are the first and the last. You are seen, yet you remain unseen, hidden and far beyond our grasp. And although the Allah is manifested in all things, you exceed our limited perception. Let me not forget Anu, the caretaker, and make my heart never forgetful of you. Make my thoughts be about nothing save your magnificence, and make me not like those who stand haughtily and arrogantly, unable to bow down before you and your creation. I was nothing before you made me something. So please don't let me dishonor the covenant made between you and I. Such an act would surely invoke your wrath and cause me to dwell in ignorance for an eternity. And let me not forget the seriousness with which this covenant was made. I do not want to be in the ranks of the disobedient. I would much rather be of the order that is drawn to you under any circumstances, because they are a reflection of brotherhood. Please keep us in our right minds and let us not be like the lunatics, those animal-like people who are without humility and reverence in your humility and reverence in your presence. overstanding every action of your goodness. Do not let our hearts be attracted to the things of this world. O you, the most merciful one, it is better to live in this world as an agreeable being than to live at the cost of the lives of great souls who are my teachers and not my oppressors. I was confused about my duties as an alum and had succumbed to the inner weakness. In this unholy state, I am pleading that you will tell me clearly what is best for me. And with a melting heart, I humble myself before you, praying that you grant human celestial peace and eternal brotherhood. Please keep us in our right minds and let us not be like the lunatics, those animal like people who are without humility and reverence in your presence, overstanding the limits of their knowledge. They, the madmen, are aware, even in their madness, that nothing can be hidden from you because you know the mysteries of the universe. So glory be to you alone, O sustainer, for nothing gives life except you. And I was truly amongst the ones in ignorance, the wrongdoers. Now I stand before you remorseful, begging your pardon and uttering words of my works, except the words of my own confession for my own sins. And I asked of you, the ultimate forgiver, to forgive me, for you to grant redemption, so that I may be cleansed of all my iniquities, big and small. Please help me to overcome all the turmoil that comes my way and lies within the confines of my own being. And I beg of you, please watch over me and please instruct me, for my soul surrenders to you. And we know which is better, conquering the disagreeableness, and we know which is not, being conquered. I have found no means by which I can drive away the grief that dwelt within me, which is drying up my senses and my ability to project. The Anunnaki spoke. While speaking that which you have learned to take heed, that every man mourns for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise grieve not, for they proceed to change that which is undesirable. The best amongst you is the person who is not disturbed by happiness nor distress, but is steady in both. They that remain steady certainly will taste liberation. When your mind is no longer disturbed and is able to restrain that which is disagreeable, and fixes his consciousness upon that which is agreeable, but will be known as a man of great intellect. He who has given up all desires, all sense of dominion, and is free from false ego, pride, arrogance, hatred, anger, and envy, he alone can attain real divinity. You shall obtain humility, pridelessness, nonviolence, tolerance, patience, respect, love, devotion, simplicity, cleanliness, steadfastness, and self-control. Do not lose the daily opportunity to increase that which you have. Diligence produces gains, and gains do not endure when diligence is abandoned. If you are a leader, see that the plans that you make are carried out. Do great things which will be remembered long after you. Where there is praise, distraction cannot survive. But where there is ill will entered, like devils, strife also comes. If you are a judge chosen to people, handle matters with strict sense of justice. Do not lean to one side or the other. Take care that no one complains that you are unfair and your actions result in a judgment against you. Greater light.
You come